In the vast, remote expanse of Yakutia, one of the most isolated and mysterious regions in the world, a strange and unsettling event began to circulate through corners of the internet. A video, reportedly filmed by a pilot named Dmitry Lyashev, captured something that appeared too enormous and too precise to be natural, a colossal wall stretching across the frozen landscape. This so-called wall was not a crumbling ruin or a collapsed range. Instead, it looked startlingly straight and towering, seemingly artificial in nature, and it extended far beyond what the eye could follow. Dmitry Lyashev, an experienced pilot known for his routine cargo flights over the Siberian wilderness, had been flying a standard route over the Yakutia region when he noticed something strange on the horizon. Cutting through the snow-covered peaks and valleys was an immense structure that looked entirely out of place. Describing it later in a brief post shared to a private social page, Dmitry claimed the wall continued endlessly in both directions. Unable to shake the feeling that he had witnessed something extraordinary, he did what many would do. He filmed it. The footage he captured was mesmerizing. From the cockpit, the landscape below seemed swallowed by white snow and jagged rock, except for a massive, straight-edged formation that sliced through the terrain like a dividing line. Observers described it as a barrier, a literal wall, dark in contrast to the frozen land surrounding it. Though flying thousands of feet above the ground, the pilot's camera could not capture the wall's end in either direction. What made this discovery even more puzzling was what happened next. Dmitry Lyashev, the man who had brought the anomaly to light, appeared to vanish. His social profiles were scrubbed. Attempts by curious researchers and online users to locate or contact him led nowhere. He was unreachable. It was as if he had stepped away from his life without a trace. This sudden silence raised suspicion and worry in equal measure. The disappearance of Dmitry, coming so soon after his video began circulating, raised questions that were impossible to ignore. For those watching closely, it was more than coincidence. Many began suggesting that something, or someone, did not want this discovery gaining widespread attention. They pointed to the erasure of the pilot's online identity as a deliberate move. Some even speculated that higher powers had taken an interest in what he had found. The video itself did not stay available for long. Viewers who had seen it claimed that it was removed from several social media platforms shortly after being posted. What little remained were re-uploads in private forums or screen recordings made by a few quick-thinking users. Yet even those copies were reportedly removed from hosting sites. This strange pattern led to mounting suspicion that a quiet effort was underway to suppress public knowledge of the anomaly. As the story unfolded, many users across the internet voiced their frustration. For a site so massive, allegedly stretching for what looked like thousands of miles, there was remarkably little discussion from mainstream media. There were no official statements, no geological breakdowns, no satellite confirmations. It was almost as if the wall didn't exist. And yet, those who had seen the original footage continued to insist that what they had viewed was real and unlike anything they had seen before. Some interesting theories naturally followed. Some believed that the wall was ancient, the last remnant of a forgotten civilization buried beneath layers of snow and secrecy. Others believed it might be an artificial structure built by unknown groups, either ancient or modern, perhaps even of non-human origin. One of the more grounded theories was that it might be a natural formation with coincidentally perfect symmetry, but even that failed to explain the reaction that followed its discovery. After all, natural formations don't usually spark vanishing pilots and disappearing footage. The Yakutia region itself is no stranger to mystery. Sprawling and largely uninhabited, it is a land where temperatures plummet and time seems to freeze. Stories of strange happenings are not uncommon there, yet this discovery felt different. It was something visible, documented, and then quickly made inaccessible. The sheer scale of the wall was what disturbed most observers. In the footage, the structure appeared to stand like a monolithic partition across the landscape. And despite being filmed from an altitude that should offer vast visibility, there was still no indication of where the wall began or ended. People online began poring over satellite images and archived terrain maps, hoping to identify the formation Dmitry had captured. Some even theorized that it had been digitally masked or altered in publicly available satellite tools. Others scoured declassified files and geological records, but found nothing that even remotely resembled the footage. For many, this lack of documentation only reinforced the belief that something was being hidden. The absence of official interest added to the tension. Why hadn't any geological agencies commented? Where were the investigative journalists? And why had the platforms removed the video with no explanation? Those watching closely began to suspect that the video had drawn attention not only from civilians, but from behind-the-scenes authorities with the power to remove, silence, and erase. More theories began to circulate. Some believed the wall may have been part of an ancient structure, perhaps a boundary created long before modern history. Others wondered if it could be evidence of long-lost knowledge, hidden for centuries, and only now uncovered by chance. A few even questioned whether the wall was a remnant of something not originally of this earth, pointing to the speed at which the footage was buried as evidence that its origin posed a threat to official narratives. But perhaps the most haunting part of the story remains the fate of Dmitry Lyashev. Was his silence voluntary? Did he choose to step away after realizing the weight of what he had uncovered? Or was his disappearance orchestrated by forces bigger than him, powers capable of not only finding and silencing a man, but also wiping away the digital breadcrumbs of his existence? Some claim to have found old mentions of his name in flight records, but no new sightings or communications have emerged. Even the authenticity of his identity began to be questioned. Was Dmitry a real person, or was his name an alias used to obscure the identity of a whistleblower? The more time passed, the fewer answers were available. Yet despite the mystery and silence, the image of the wall lived on. Those who had saved screenshots or fragments of the video began creating digital reconstructions, attempting to recreate the site Dmitry had shown the world for only a brief moment. Artists and researchers posted interpretations, while forums kept the discussion alive. It became a symbol of the unknown, of truths hidden in plain sight and erased before they could take root. To this day, the wall over Yakutia remains a topic spoken about in whispers, passed between the curious, the skeptical, and those who believe in the unexplained. The legacy of the video is not just the strange structure it revealed, but the powerful reaction that followed. The silence, the deletion, the disappearance, all point to a story bigger than one video, and perhaps bigger than we can understand. Until more information surfaces, the wall stands not only in the snows of Yakutia, but also in the minds of those who believe that some truths are hidden not because they are dangerous, but because they are powerful. The mystery is not only about a wall, it is about the silencing of discovery, the erasure of evidence, and the lingering sense that there is still so much we are not being told. In the vast expanse of the Antarctic wilderness, where ancient secrets and the snow-covered landscape stretch endlessly, there exists a realm of mystery and intrigue. It is within this frozen realm that our story unfolds, a story of a man who stumbled upon an extraordinary discovery, only to vanish without a trace. A man by the name of James McClellan sat in front of his computer screen, scouring Google Earth for anomalies in the Antarctic terrain. Interestingly enough, a number of anomalies have been discovered all around Antarctica throughout the years, and most of them end up on social media pages that are dedicated to studying mysterious phenomena. The man detailed that as he zoomed in on a remote region of Antarctica, he couldn't believe what he was looking at. He described that nestled amidst the snow and ice was a peculiar formation, a perfect circle standing out against the stark white backdrop. The moment his discovery of the UFO embedded in the snow in Antarctica hit social media, it ignited a firestorm of speculation, fascination, and intrigue unlike anything seen before. As word spread like wildfire across platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit, people from all corners of the globe weighed in with their reactions, theories, and opinions. Social media users said that this is one of the clearest UFOs that has been found in Antarctica, while some users shared jokes, poking fun at the idea of extraterrestrial visitors in the icy wilderness of Antarctica, while others delved into deep discussions about the implications of such a monumental discovery. Facebook became a battleground of competing narratives, with users passionately debating the authenticity of the find. Posts flooded timelines, with some users sharing news articles and photos of the UFO, while others dismissed it as a hoax or a misinterpretation of natural phenomena. Oddly enough, Although this photograph seems too good to be true, amateur researchers pointed out that this isn't the first time that an unidentified object has been found embedded within Antarctica's ice. Reports of UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica are as elusive as they are intriguing, with accounts dating back decades and spanning the furthest reaches of the continent. Witnesses describe encountering strange metallic objects protruding from the ice and snow, their sleek surfaces glinting in the faint polar light. Some describe the objects as disc-shaped, while others report seeing cylindrical or triangular craft buried beneath the frozen surface. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica comes from satellite imagery captured by various space agencies and private organizations. Images depicting anomalous shapes and formations hidden beneath the ice have surfaced, prompting speculation about the nature and origin of these mysterious sightings. Some suggest that the objects may be remnants of crashed spacecraft or ancient artifacts, while others propose more outlandish theories involving extraterrestrial visitation and government cover-ups. In recent years, advances in technology and the proliferation of satellite imagery have fueled renewed interest in the phenomenon of UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica. Researchers and enthusiasts scour satellite images in search of anomalies and anomalies, hoping to uncover evidence of hidden truths lurking beneath the frozen surface. And while some dismiss the sightings as natural geological formations or optical illusions, others believe that they may hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. One of the challenges in unraveling the mystery of UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica lies in the remote and inhospitable nature of the continent itself. With vast expanses of uncharted territory and harsh environmental conditions, conducting thorough investigations into reported sightings can be logistically challenging and resource-intensive. Yet, despite these obstacles, researchers and explorers continue to brave the elements in search of answers, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to uncover the truth. One of the most tantalizing theories to emerge from the investigation into UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica is the notion of ancient civilizations or lost civilizations hidden beneath the ice. Proponents of this theory point to satellite imagery showing geometric shapes and patterns that appear to be of artificial origin, suggesting the presence of intelligent design. Some speculate that these ancient civilizations may have possessed advanced technology or knowledge far beyond our own, and that their legacy may still be buried beneath the ice, waiting to be discovered. In addition to ancient civilizations, some theorists suggest that UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica may be evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. According to this theory, the continent may serve as a hotspot for alien activity due to its remote location and inhospitable environment. Sightings of UFOs and unexplained phenomena in the region are cited as evidence of extraterrestrial presence, with some speculating that the objects buried beneath the ice may be spacecraft or artifacts left behind by visiting aliens. Despite the tantalizing nature of these theories, the truth behind the sightings of UFOs embedded in the snow of Antarctica remains elusive. Skeptics argue that the sightings may be the result of natural geological processes or misinterpretations of satellite imagery, while others dismiss them as hoaxes or delusions. The mysterious UFO presence above Antarctica. The history of UFO sightings above Antarctica dates back to the early days of polar exploration, when intrepid adventurers ventured into the uncharted reaches of the southernmost continent. Tales of strange lights dancing in the sky and mysterious objects darting among the clouds became a staple of Antarctic lore, passed down through generations of explorers and researchers. Yet, it was not until the advent of modern technology and satellite imagery that the true extent of UFO activity above Antarctica began to emerge. In recent years, a growing number of reports and sightings have been documented, sparking renewed interest and speculation among scientists, researchers, and UFO enthusiasts alike. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for UFO activity above Antarctica comes from satellite imagery captured by various space agencies and private organizations. Images depicting anomalous objects and unexplained phenomena have surfaced, raising questions about the nature and origin of these mysterious sightings. In one notable incident, satellite imagery captured by NASA's Earth Observing System revealed a series of strange, disc-shaped objects hovering above the Antarctic continent. The images, which quickly spread across social media and online forums, sparked intense debate and speculation about the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation. Similarly, reports from Antarctic research stations and expeditions have recounted encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, further fueling speculation about the presence of UFOs in the region. Witnesses describe seeing bright lights in the sky, erratic movements, and other inexplicable phenomena that defy conventional explanation. Theories abound as to the origin and nature of these mysterious sightings. Some suggest that the UFOs observed above Antarctica could be of terrestrial origin, such as secret military aircraft or experimental technology being tested in the remote reaches of the continent. Others speculate that the sightings may be evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, with Antarctica serving as a potential hotspot for alien activity due to its remote and inhospitable nature. Yet, amidst the speculation and conjecture, one thing remains certain. The sightings of UFOs above Antarctica represent a tantalizing mystery that continues to elude explanation. Despite advances in technology and our understanding of the universe, the true nature of these mysterious phenomena remains shrouded in mystery. One of the challenges in unraveling the mystery of UFOs above Antarctica lies in the remote and inaccessible nature of the continent itself. With vast expanses of uncharted territory and harsh environmental conditions, conducting thorough investigations into reported sightings can be logistically challenging and resource-intensive. However, efforts to study and understand UFO activity above Antarctica are ongoing. Scientists and researchers continue to analyze satellite imagery, gather eyewitness accounts, and deploy cutting-edge technology in an effort to shed light on the strange phenomenon. During the early expeditions to Antarctica, tales of UFO sightings became woven into the fabric of exploration lore, adding an element of mystery to the already daunting challenges of navigating the icy wilderness. From the late 19th century onwards, as explorers ventured deeper into the uncharted reaches of the continent, reports of strange lights in the sky and mysterious objects hovering above the horizon began to surface. One of the earliest documented sightings occurred during the heroic age of Antarctic exploration in the early 20th century. During Admiral Richard Byrd's historic expeditions to Antarctica in the 1920s and 1930s, reports of UFO sightings became increasingly common among members of his crew. Accounts from Byrd's expeditions recount sightings of luminous objects darting through the sky, hovering above the ice shelves, and disappearing into the depths of the Antarctic wilderness. Despite efforts to rationalize and explain these sightings, many remained perplexed by the inexplicable nature of the phenomena. In his notebook, Byrd describes venturing into the vast reaches of the planet's interior, covering a distance of 1,700 miles while traveling through mountains, lakes, rivers, lush vegetation, and a variety of fauna. American Navy officer Richard Byrd, who was born in 1888, devoted his professional life to exploring new areas and leading expeditions there. Admiral Byrd is primarily recognized for his proficiency in polar exploration. He served as a navigator on numerous expeditions that descended into the North Pole, Antarctica, South Pole, and Arctic. Notably, Byrd claimed to have found a route to Agartha, the mythical city thought to be situated in the center of the Earth, during his first flight over the North Pole. Byrd joined the US Navy as an ensign after earning his degree from the US Naval Academy in 1911. He received his flight training at the US Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida, and was a distinguished member of the Navy. He created navigational techniques and equipment for NC flying boats after the war, one of which accomplished the Navy's first transatlantic aircraft flight in 1909. In addition, he helped with dirigibles intended for transatlantic travel. His Arctic career began in 1924, when he commanded a small naval aviation detachment attached to Commander D.B. Macmillan's Arctic expedition, which was based at Etah and traveled to western Greenland. Inspired by his flight over glaciers and sea ice in western Greenland, Byrd was adamant about reaching the North Pole. Byrd, in the role of navigator, and Floyd Bennett, in the role of pilot, claimed to have undertaken the first aeroplane trip to the North Pole on May 9, 1926, departing from Kings Bay, Spitsbergen, Norway, and returning. The only problem during the 15-and-a-half-hour trip was an oil leak from their Fokker tri-motor airplane's starboard engine. They were acclaimed as national heroes and awarded the US Congressional Medal of Honor as a result of their accomplishment. Still, there was always a question as to whether they had actually made it to the North Pole. After Byrd's death, one of his early collaborators, Bernd Balchen, even claimed that the flight to the North Pole was a fraud. In May of 1927, Byrd helped American aviator Charles A. Lindbergh during his solo transatlantic voyage by offering navigational instruction. Byrd played a crucial role in arranging for Lindbergh to have access to a specially lengthened runway and in getting him ready for the flight. Byrd and his three friends made the decision to try their own west-to-east transatlantic flight after being inspired by Lindbergh's accomplishment. On the Ross Ice Shelf, close to the Ross Sea, Byrd erected Little America, a large and well-stocked station, during his first tour of Antarctica in the years 1928 to 1930. Flying over the Antarctic continent, this expedition was the biggest and best-equipped one at the time. They found the mountain range known as the Rockefeller Mountains, and they dubbed the unexplored area that lay beyond it Marie Byrd Land, in honor of Byrd's spouse. The Admiral's supposed flight into Earth is the most fascinating part of the story. Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd flew to the North Pole in 1947 while serving in the US Navy. There are rumors that his plane may have entered the inner Earth instead of just flying over the pole. Journal entries from his notebook relate his excursion into the Earth's interior, which he traveled 1,700 kilometers across, seeing scenes of mountains, lakes, rivers, verdant vegetation, and fauna. The story begins in this journal, when unidentified planes arrived to welcome the renowned aviator. It was clear from his unfamiliarity with these flying devices that he had come onto something entirely new. They told him that because of his excellent moral and ethical standards, he had been granted entry into Agartha, the famous city situated deep under the earth. These entities made the choice to forge closer ties with the outside world in order to protect our planet and avoid it being destroyed along with their own civilization. With their lives irrevocably changed, Admiral Byrd and his crew were flown back to civilization by their guides. The North and South Poles, according to Admiral Byrd, are only two of many gates that lead to our planet's inner core. Admiral Byrd stated that earlier scientists had also believed that the interior Earth had its own inside sun. It is hypothesized that the Earth's poles are convex rather than concave, as is the common view. This would imply the presence of apertures through which aircraft and ships could be able to fly or float. The story's believers said that although the American media reported Admiral Byrd's discoveries, they were soon covered up by a covert international cover-up that our well-meaning authorities had masterminded. The editor of Flying Saucer magazine, Ray Palmer, produced a detailed piece regarding Admiral Byrd's discoveries. The US government reportedly obtained, destroyed, or confiscated almost every copy of the article before destroying the printing press plates. It is a sign of naivete to think that such a cover-up could not be planned. A very identical thing happened to an article on Admiral Byrd's discovery that was published in National Geographic. After it was released, US authorities actively searched for and destroyed almost every copy of that specific edition. This brings up a fascinating question. If the Agartha story was false after all, why would the government be so terrified of this information being shared? Secret bases. The notion of clandestine installations and covert operations in Antarctica traces its origins back to the early days of polar exploration, when nations vied for dominance in the race to uncover the secrets of the frozen wilderness. With the signing of the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, which established Antarctica as a scientific preserve and banned military activity on the continent, the idea of secret bases took on an air of intrigue and mystery. One of the most persistent rumors surrounding secret bases in Antarctica revolves around the notion of German remnants from World War II establishing hidden strongholds in the icy wilderness. According to some accounts, high-ranking members of the German party fled to Antarctica following the fall of Germany, where they purportedly built underground bunkers and research facilities in a bid to continue their experiments and pursue their agenda of global domination. While mainstream historians dismiss such claims as fanciful and unsubstantiated, proponents of the theory point to alleged sightings of German submarines and aircraft in the vicinity of Antarctica, as well as purported evidence of underground tunnels and structures hidden beneath the ice. Additionally, Declassified documents from the era suggest that both Allied and Axis powers were keenly interested in Antarctica for its strategic and scientific significance, adding a layer of plausibility to the notion of secret German bases on the continent. Another theory posits that modern nations, including the United States and Russia, have established covert installations in Antarctica for purposes ranging from scientific research to military experimentation. Proponents of this theory point to satellite imagery showing anomalous structures and unusual activity in remote regions of the continent, as well as accounts from whistleblowers and alleged insiders who claim to have first-hand knowledge of secret bases hidden beneath the ice. One of the most widely cited pieces of evidence for the existence of secret bases in Antarctica comes from the declassified documents released by WikiLeaks in recent years. Among the trove of documents are references to a purported secret area of Antarctica, a top-secret facility allegedly operated by the United States government for classified research and development projects. While the authenticity of these documents remains a subject of debate, they have fueled speculation and curiosity about the true extent of human activity in Antarctica. In addition to alleged military installations, some theorists speculate that Antarctica may be home to hidden bases operated by extraterrestrial beings or advanced civilizations. Accounts of UFO sightings and unexplained phenomena in the region have led some to believe that Antarctica holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe, and that secret alien bases may lie hidden beneath its icy surface. Despite the lack of concrete evidence to support such claims, the allure of secret bases in Antarctica continues to captivate the imaginations of researchers.